Good morning, boys and girls. So we are wrapping up our narrative unit. Today and tomorrow we're going to do our final editing, looking for errors, making sure the story looks good. All right, so let me show you the way that I would normally edit a story for errors. This is a story that I've just created real quick. Okay, it's about a cat, and I can see different paragraphs. Here's just one paragraph. Here's another paragraph. Here's another. Here's another. Here's another. Notice how these all start out with your quotation marks. It's because this is one character speaking, then another character speaking, and then another. So one of the things that you have to make sure is that you have a separate paragraph every time someone different is speaking. Really super important. So when I'm looking over my paper, I'm first making sure, that I don't have any extra spaces anywhere. I've got my paragraph divides right here. So I'm going to go down to the end of the story. And again, still just looking. Whenever you see anything that's underlined in green or if it's red, click on it because the computer might help you figure out what's wrong with it. Okay? All right, so that's the end of my story. Now here's what I do. I go to the very end and then I go to the last sentence. So I go here, I see the period, I back up until I see the next period right there. So this sentence here, it's so important that even though there's nothing for Mr. Whiskers to hunt, he still practices. So read it out loud and think, does it make sense? It's so important that even though there's nothing for Mr. Whiskers to hunt, he still practices. Okay, there's a subject, there's a predicate, it's a complete thought. Okay, you need to listen to yourself read that sentence out loud and then take a moment to stop and say, does it make sense? All right, let's go to the next sentence. So if I'm going to back it up, here's my next sentence. So it's pretty important to figure out how to get food one way or another. And I just want you to read one sentence. So it's pretty important to figure out how to get food one way or another. There's a subject, there's a predicate. It began with a capitalization, ends with punctuation. Okay, there's no dialogue there. It looks good. Go to my next sentence. All animals have to eat if they want to stay alive. All animals have to eat if they want to stay alive. It's a complete thought. There's a subject and a predicate. Begins with a capital, ends in a punctuation. And I'm going to go to the next sentence. You hear me call dinner the same way Mr. Whiskers hears me pour cat food into his bowl. You hear me call dinner the same way Mr. Whiskers hears me pour cat food into the bowl. There's a subject, there's a predicate, it's a complete sentence. Now it's a little bit longer sentence, but it's still a sentence, begins with a capital, ends with a period. All right, why do we go from the bottom up? Okay, here's why. You have spent so much time in the story, your brain knows how that story should be. Okay, it's that simple. Your brain knows how that story should be. So sometimes when we're reading, if we're reading from the beginning down, your eye might pick up on an error, but your brain might override it. Because again, your brain knows what that story should be about, okay, and how it should be written. So by starting from the bottom and working up, you're forcing your brain to slow down and take it out of order. Okay, because if it's in order from top to bottom, your brain's going to try to override what you're hearing. Okay, no big deal. I find this is the best way in order to get my paper edited very well. Now, boys and girls, remember, you can make changes anytime that you want. Okay, once you get done with that, maybe read your story to your parents. Okay, read it out loud to a sibling. Okay, see if there's anything that they think that you should change. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions. All right, have a great day.